Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Mayorga. I have not been on YouTube for a while. I haven't made a video for a while. Been extremely busy. I am a professor, and so my summer was very, very busy. My fall started, but recently I was listening to someone. I will give credit to that one person. She said a woman that's over 100 years old, and they were interviewing her and asking her about how she managed to be as young as she was. I think she's 104 years old. And she was talking about something that I thought would be interesting to share with everybody. Everybody tends to, not everybody, but a lot of people tend to have kind of a guideline for living a good life and experiencing good health and getting older in a wise way. And so she said that she followed the 5 L's. And so I listened to them and I said, I thought to myself, I need to put that out there. Let people know the importance of thinking from this perspective and managing their emotionality and managing their life in a way so that life can go forward. I'll give you an example. We went on vacation about 2 weeks ago, and we're on our way back. Let's see, what is today? Today's Wednesday. We're on our way back Monday. All right. And the example that I'm giving you is just to indicate to you how much progress I've made in my own personal life by looking at things similarly to what this person was talking about. We're coming along driving. We're using GPS and the voice that tells us, go this way, go that way. And so we're in Texas, we're coming into Lubbock, and the GPS said, get off on this road and go the back road. And we thought, that's really interesting because we're on the highway and we could go straight into Lubbock, but what the heck? It's telling us to do that. So we did, and we were going through a small town, Plainview, I should say. And lo and behold, we hit a deer. And it was so sudden and it felt like a small impact, but I know it wasn't because it smashed the side of the car completely. But I am a faithful woman and I do believe in a higher power. So I believe that our higher power was working for us that day. And our car didn't stop running, but it mangled all the fender on the left side. And so my husband pulls over and he's going on the little side road there, the shoulder. And we're thinking, wow, we're going to drive into Lubbock at 6:45 in the morning. This was fairly early. We had uh, started driving out of Colorado Springs. I apologize for my voice. But we're going along about 20 miles an hour thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? We're going to have to rent a car, maybe spend the night, try to see if family can come give us a lift or pull the car, or I don't know. But we were very much at peace. And then, but lo and behold, a state trooper out of nowhere appears and says, what's going on? Are you okay? And then he proceeded to help my husband cut off all the pieces that were dragging on the ground and tie everything up. And then he gave us the necessary form to fill out when you hit something on the road, not an accident, but something like a deer, an animal, uh, something in the middle of the road, which I didn't know that we needed. Neither my husband or I. So we were very grateful, and we were very grateful to this young man who was a state trooper and had everything that we needed to be able to keep going forward. So once all of that was done, keep going. And my husband pushes the car to about 50 miles, and it's doing all right. And then pushes it a little bit more, and well, 70 miles it's clipping along really well. And so we just decided, yeah, we're going to go home and handle it from there. But the reason I'm giving this example is maybe 20 years, 10 years, uh, certainly 30 years ago, I would have dissolved instead of looking at it as that's life and dealing with it and in a way that would not disrupt my peace. And we, at any other time, 10 years, 20 years ago, I would have wanted to blame somebody. I would have blamed my husband. I would have said, well, if you had seen it at 6:45 at night, right, when it's going right across, if we, you know, and I would have been reiterating it, and I would have totally disrupted my inner peace. But I've gotten to a point where it is important for us to, and then I'm going to say the 5 things that she talked about. It's important for us to look at life as life. Things happen. Sometimes we're not prepared for it. Sometimes it can be very hard, but it is life. And no reviewing and hoping and trying to go back. Oh, if we had only gone back 15 minutes before and stayed on the freeway, none of this would have happened. We need to look at life as it unfolds the way it unfolds. Some people will say that's the way it goes. If you had stayed on the freeway, it might have been a worse accident. So the fact that you were on a side road and somebody stopped, somebody helped you, and you weren't jolted, you didn't skid, you didn't flip, you didn't end up in the ditch. Uh, and so it's all about a perspective. And so that's the number one. How do we look at life? Are we angry at life? Do we look at it as just unfolding before us? And what can we take from it? Whether it be a death, whether it be an accident, whether it be losing your job, all of those things are horrific. They're hard for us to deal with, but we can't change life. Life unfolds, even with some of the choices that we make. We decided to listen to the GPS. We make the decision to get on that road. But in retrospect, being on that road, I choose to see it as the better place to be rather than being on the freeway because we wouldn't have known what would have happened in the freeway. Something maybe, maybe nothing, but that's life. So that's the first thing that this person said. You need to look at life for what it is, life. Second was love. And this person incorporated that through all these 5 areas that she talked about. Understanding it with that concept of love, uh, thanking your higher power for caring enough to make sure that nothing horrendous happened, feeling love for the person who was driving, who got stressed out at that moment that this was going to happen. My husband said all I could see was the deer coming through the windshield and just demolishing us. And so his love for me, my love for him, our love for living all came into play at that moment. And we were extremely grateful and continue to be grateful. And the third one was laughter. And we did that. We laughed because, number one, laughter releases a lot of stress. And it's important to have laughter in our lives. As a counselor, I say to my clients, humor is a good thing. Do we use humor in therapy? Yeah, you can use humor, not during the time that you're looking at things that are um, very distressful for the client, but it is important to see humor in life because if we take it so seriously, then we're going to be so stoic and we're going to be so unable to enjoy what's around us. So, laughter is very important in your relationships, be it with a significant other or your family or at work. Uh, Somebody, let's say, for example, you're at work, it's 15 minutes for you to leave, and somebody comes along and says, and dumps more work on your desk and says, you got to get this through today. All right, 15 minutes to you leaving, you got to laugh because it ain't going to happen, right? We could get angry, we could say so many things in our heads to that person, or we could laugh and say, okay, sure, and put it there for tomorrow. If the boss comes and says, why didn't you have it done? You still need to use your humor to let them know there was no way, unless you're a machine or AI or something like that. But laughter is very, very important. But good laughter, not laughter that we use to hurt other people, not laughter at laughing at other people, but laughing at yourself, seeing the humanity in yourself and not putting so much pressure on yourself to do everything correctly. So that's very important. The next one is labor, and that's about idleness, not being idle all the time. Idleness is necessary. You can go sit down, take a breath, or give yourself 30 minutes. But when we labor, and I'm not talking about laboring 24/7 so that you have no space, I'm talking about being productive, staying involved. Uh, you know, I know of a person that sits in front of the TV and doesn't get up till the evening. And that in itself is harmful to us. So spacing out the labor appropriately. I'll use myself as an example. I get up in the morning. First thing I go do is water my plants. I love gardening. That's a very uh, important thing that I do to give myself some joy. And then before I do that, I get up, I get dressed, I take a shower. If I feel like doing my hair, I will. If not, I'll just comb it. Then I go out, do my flowers, and then I begin my day by laboring. And we think of the word labor as something very hard, but that's not what it is. It's just doing something throughout your day in a way that at the end it gives you a feeling of satisfaction. You can't do everything on your plate or everything on your list, but you're going along and you're stopping. I stop at 10:30. I go have lunch. I don't come back. I leave the house and I come back around 2 o'clock. I finish doing what things that I think I can do on my list. And then around 4:30 or 5, I say things like, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go lay down. I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to do this. But it's something that rolls out without that constant stress of all the things on my plate that really, it's ludicrous because we pile our plate up so much. There's no way I'm going to be able to do everything. So I pick and choose what I need to do to make me feel productive and also to make me feel joyful and satisfied. And then the last one, which is very important to me as a therapist, is active listening. She just said listening, but how do we listen? Do we listen to ourselves? Are we able to hear our inner voice and do the things that we know we need to do at that moment or not do at that moment? Do we listen to others when they're telling us, or do we jump in right away and say, well, listen to me? Like, for example, uh, if I was telling somebody about the accident and that we hit a deer, and somebody says, well, let me tell you about what happened to me, I get a little perturbed because I'm trying to process what's happening to somebody that I thought would listen and they don't. So evaluate your level of listening skills. So again, these 5 things: life, love, laughter, labor, listening, I attribute to this person that I saw. I listened to a video that she put out there. I can't remember her name, but I do give credit where credit is due. She's a 105-year-old beautiful woman. And I thought, this is something that I wrote it down and I said, I'm going to share this. Since I haven't done anything lately to share, I think it's important for us to think about those 5 things and how they play out in our life. Are they working in your life? Or is only 2 of them working in your life and the other 3 you're thinking, that's not even worth it. But I would challenge you to write these down: life, love, laughter, labor, listening, and see how often all of those work in your life on a daily basis. And then let me know. Of course, you can't let me know, but you can always comment. Hit the button below, and you can always comment. All right. Thank you very much, and have a good day.